Good afternoon and welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I make mostly actually stitch with meat, and I do my floss tubes, my stitching updates every 2 months. So now it's time for the September and October update. I have done stuff. I have started a lot of projects that I didn't actually plan on starting. It sort of just happened. And yeah, because I'm not usually someone who starts a lot of new projects like all the time. And I mean, there are some people that have like over 100 whips going, which is fascinating. I love watching their whips and their whip parades and all of that. I have normally just kept it sort of under control, but for some reason, this year has been the year of new starts. And I did not plan to do anything special for September, or Sampler September, I think they call it. I was just gonna, stitch as usual, do my normal rotation, but then I don't know, I just I just sort of got inspired and enabled, maybe one also should say, by watching other floss tubers. Now I have not, since this is the first time that I'm doing or did something resembling like a Sampler September, I'm not quite sure how to do with it, because I know that a lot of people start samplers and then they in September and then they only stitch on them in September, and some people just start a bunch and then stitch on them during the year. I'm probably going to do a little bit of both. Anyways, enough. So I did start the month, and this is, I think, where I got my sort of start with a sampler thingy, because I do have this is my pandemic from Long Dog Samplers, and this is such a favorite of mine. I really love this, and it is coming along nicely, as you can see. Yeah, oh, I'm so in love with this sampler. Yeah, so I did end up starting September with stitching on this for like 3 or 4 days. I don't have much left. I am 60% done. And yeah, I had so much fun. I always have so much fun when stitching on pandemic. So yeah, super happy. This is stitched on an 18 count Ada. The floss is a silk floss from Mrs. Sadis. It's a super nice floss, and I bought one of those big hanks of floss that she has, and it is really nice, super nice floss, and it's lasting forever for a bunch. So yeah, this is what I have left from one of those big, super big hanks that she sells, or they sell, and I only have a little ways to go, so this is gonna last the whole project, which is nice, and I'm gonna have some left over. I think, or I hope I have, and this is also something that I feel that I have to start to think about now that I am having a lot of projects going, is because I know that there are also some of the floss tubers that I follow are whipping down, which is trying to finish and have fewer whips going. I'm not too stressed about that yet. Or, well, yeah. No, I don't think so. But I am going to have to start being, I think, a little bit more deliberate with how I choose my projects. I'm gonna have a little think about it and then try to push a more structured plan in motion for next year, 2025. For now, I'm just gonna go with it, right? But a part of that plan is to try to finish this sometime during 2025. As I said, 60% done. I mean, there is not a lot left. So I'm hoping to finish this next year. If I don't, not a problem. But yeah, it would be nice. Oh, I mean, I love it so much. Anyways, sorry, I'm too enthusiastic, I think. Anyways, Pandemic from Long Dog Samplers. Love the floss, love the chart, love everything about this. And this is, like I said, the project that started me on the journey of starting more samplers. So on to the next one. Now for this one, I'm not sure that everybody may not be willing to call this a sampler, but it is in its name. It is called Spring Sampler, and it is a kit from Mareka. And what I like about this is that there is 2 fabrics, and no, this way. Sorry. And yeah, I am really liking these. I mean, I have all 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and they are all the same concepts, like 2 fabrics. You have one main one, and then you are gonna make some smaller pictures and then cut them out and then add them on to this bigger one. It is super fun, it is super cute. There are some blended threads, but I don't mind that. And also, actually, I think in this one, I think I mentioned it before, there are some tent stitches or half crosses in this single thread, which I'm not doing. I'm just doing full cross, which is a little bit of a risk because the floss may not, I mean, I may run out of floss. The thing is though, since I have all 4 of them, have sort of compared the floss, and it is totally possible to just throw them all sort of in the same pile and then just borrow floss from the other kits. I have already looked into that, and that would then, I think, make it so that the floss is gonna last me. Also, it's DMC, so I have DMC, so if I would run out, that it is not a problem to add to if I run out of something. But I did not sort of like the tent stitching in here, because I get it. It's sort of to be, I think, especially the bluish grayish one here are supposed to be like shadow and not stand out as much. But I actually prefer it how it looks with the full crosses, so that's why I chose to do it. But if you plan to do this, then just know that there are some half crosses and some single thread and stuff like that that I'm not doing. It is, otherwise this is stitched on a 16 count Ada, and I spent about, I don't know, 2 days on it. What did I do? I think I completed this section here, down here, and I might have done a little bit up here, but I think mostly I completed this part down here. And because it's more detailed than you think. There are more colors than you think in the flowers, which is why which is why they show up so detailed. I love it. I really like the depth and how the different colors are showing up. So I can highly recommend these kits. They are super fun and not too difficult to stitch and not taking too long to make progress, if that is what you are interested in. So spring sampler. So I then started a sampler. This is a pattern that I bought, I think, on sale, and a very good price on Etsy. It's from a company called 2 times 2 Stitch Art. I chose to stitch this on an 18 count Ada with CXC floss, and I started it and I spent about 4.5 days, and that is with serging by hand, gridding, and then stitching. And this pattern, as you can see, I chose to do it with 2 colors. It is of course possible to do it with just one if you prefer. And yeah, it's nice. There's different section of it, which is fun. The floss, I actually bought these also on Etsy, because sometimes they have sales where I think they are just restocking, and they need to get rid of some of the floss, so you can get one of these boxes, 24 skeins in here for a very good price. So I did not pay much at all from these. And so I actually bought these boxes of floss before I even knew what to do with them, just because they were so cheap. Yeah, I just always thought that they would go well together, and when the chance came, or when the opportunity came to start this sampler, I just thought that this floss would be perfect for that. So I'm probably going to use, well, I know I'm going to use it more for more samplers. But anyways, I just put them on floss cards and do it one skein at a time, pretty much. Yeah, so super happy. Fun and quick stitch also. I do like how this is turning out, and I think that the 2, I don't know how it shows up on camera, but these 2 colors are actually working out better even than I thought or hoped. So super happy about that. So on to the next sampler. So time for the other Marika sampler, summer sampler. Again, 2 fabrics, but I start with the big one. And again, I am so happy how these are turning out. There are so many colors in the flowers, so that gives you so much detail, and it shows up really, really nice. I think the colors in these are insane. I really, really enjoy them so much. So again, 16 count Ada, again DMC floss that they use in the Marika kits. And I spent like a couple of days. What I did is I finished, I think, down here. I stitched a bit up here and also down here. So like I said, if you just spend a little bit of time on them, you do tend to make a lot of progress. And again, I'm doing the full crosses instead of the tent stitching, just to give it a little bit more oomph. But mostly it is full crosses for the most part. It's just the small details and some of these some of these colors that are supposed to be 10 stitching, but I'm choosing to do them as full crosses. And again, some colors are blended, and that is something that I don't mind, because I mean, they come on these big flat cards, these ones. So what I do is, for the blends, I just do separate. So I always have the blends ready. So this is like number 31 and 32, already blended and for me to pick out. I don't do a whole bunch at once, but I do like I take like one 6-stranded of one color and one 6 strands of the other, and then I just go from there. And once I've used them all up, I do refill them. But if you have the blends ready to go, then that makes it so much easier. So that is what I do normally, because these are a little bit of a hustle, I think, to work with. It's hassle. They do tend to sort of get stuck in each other, so that's why I chose to put them on these and just take them out a little bit at a time. So even though this looks maybe a little bit messy, I prefer it. I think this works pretty well. I just do it, like I said, a little bit at a time. Again, I can highly recommend Marika kits. I really, really do enjoy them. Yeah. And then time for another new start. This is actually a fairly new company on Etsy that I just fell in love with their designs, and I bought a lot of them. Also, they had a little bit of a sale, so I think I bought like in total 4 patterns from this store. It's from Lena Ova. I don't know how to pronounce it really, but this is a Cinderella one, and it is, I think, a lovely chart, a lovely pattern, and the colors on this floss is not turning out super well, but I love this floss. It is so nice. Pink, like sage greens. Yeah, super, super, super stoked. So the chart is lovely. It is so beautiful. And the floss is from a company called Moorland Designs. I don't think the name is on here. But again, I bought this floss. I think they actually had it a little bit of a sale going, but I'm not sure. It's a French company. It's a shop on Etsy, and this variegated floss is so nice. It is so pretty and super, super nice to work with. Now I'm stitching this on an 18 count Ada, and I actually chose to stitch this 1/1. And I am actually not mad about it. It is not like full coverage when you stitch 1/1 on the 18 count Ada, but for some reason I really like it when stitching with a variegated thread in a sampler way, when it's not full coverage, a full coverage piece. The 1/1 is really working out. I did try the double to do it double-stranded and match the threads up so the variegation would show through, but it just became bulky, and I don't know. The single thread here is making the stitches, I think, lie super nice. Yeah, so I love it. For me, it's more like the feeling and a little bit more of a delicate impression or representation of the pattern that I like. What I am considering though maybe is when you come down either to the text or maybe to the image of Cinderella and the Prince, maybe add some elements with double threaded just to make those some details pop, or maybe I just continue with doing the single thread all the way. I don't know. I am super happy about this one, and it's gonna be so much fun to continue. This is not one that I want to put on pause and just stitch in September. The sampler, the last sampler that I started, the two-colored one, that one I might just pause and then pick up next year. But this one I definitely want to continue stitching on. I spent about 2.5 days on this with serging, gridding, and then stitching up. Again, I love it, love it, love it. Can highly recommend Lena Ova on Etsy. So more Mareka, and now it's time for the autumn sampler. And this is another new start. And this one, I mean, I'm loving the colors. Again, I'm not sure how they are showing up on camera, but the colors are really popping. Because like on the image itself, on the front, it looks really, really nice, but the colors are a little bit more muted on here than they are in actual life. So you have, they are a little bit brighter. Oops, and as I said, I really like that. Again, I'm gonna do the double-stranded all the way through, even in the details that I'm not supposed to, because I like how it turns out. 16 count Ada DMC floss, again 2 fabrics. On this one, I think that the fabric is white, so this is not white, but then the for the smaller image, that it's gonna be a lighter color on that Ada. Did I say? Oh, 1.5 days only. About, I think I spent like half a day with the prep, serging and gridding, and then 1 day stitching. So this is also not something that I'm gonna put to the side. I'm gonna continue stitching this. I might put a pause on the spring and summer ones, and just for now, and focus on the autumn one, and then I also plan to start the winter version of these Mareka kits, the 4 seasons. So I have them all 4 going, which I'm really looking forward to. So it's going to be super exciting to make more progress on this in the coming month. And here's another new start. Now this is a sampler called Renya's sampler. The name is spelled like differently, actually. On the even on the website, I'm stitching with CXC floss. I did put aside a couple of skeins just to make it easier, so I don't have to like pull out the whole master set for just these colors. 3 colors, 310. And the 310, I have just a bunch of skeins lying around, so that will be easy. But this one is 618, and this is 3777. This store, the Cozy Stitch design on Etsy, does not exist anymore. As I can see, it looks like they closed, and not temporarily, but I have gone back and looked for a few times, so I'm not sure where to get the samplers. I'm not even sure if it's if it's their design, or if you can find the sampler somewhere else. I think it's super pretty though. I like the colors, I really do. And it felt like a little bit autumny with these 3 colors. So super, super fun to start this one. 18 count Ada. And as I said, CNC floss. And I spent, again, about a day and a half, maybe 2 days on it. This might also be one that I put on a pause for a little bit, though, because I am getting to have quite a lot of whips going. So maybe I will save this for next year's sampler, September. Or maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's not going to be a priority though to pick this one up. I'm also stitching this with 1 single thread on the 18 count, which, like I said, as you can see, or maybe you can't. Does it show up? I mean, it's not, you can see there's a little bit of, you can see the white shining through a bit, but I like that actually. Again, I did try it with double thread, and like it's too bulky. I like how the stitches are lying close to the fabric, and the crosses are, or X's are, I don't know, they just are super neat when you stitch with 1 single thread. So I'm super into that. Now, I wasn't before on Ada. I always liked stitching with double thread. But lately, especially for 18 and 20 count, the single thread is, yeah, I'm liking it a lot. Yeah, but let's move on. Again, Renya's sampler, you may not see this, or you may see it in the near future on a stitch with me. We'll see. Okay, so this is hard to see what it's supposed to be. There's a lot of 310 in here, and there's a lot of dark brown and a little bit of dark green. This is Sister Moon by Amy Stewart from Heaven and Earth Design. Now, this is a project that I do want to focus a little bit on. I'm going to spend time mostly off camera on this, and that is just simply because just stitching these, it's like stitching 310 or 939, for instance, on camera. It doesn't show up really nice or well. And also it is nice to have some projects that you just stitch off camera, especially when there's a lot of the same color. So I think going forward, this might be one that I talked about it before. I haven't had time because I have started up so many new whips lately, so I haven't spent a lot of time on this one, but I do want to make more progress. I have a few more full coverage that I'm not making much progress on. That doesn't bother me. I don't mind that. I mean, like the other one, A Stitch in Time, that I have not touched for the last 2 months. I don't mind that, because that is my lifetime companion. It's going to keep me company for the rest of my life. So it's there, and I pick it up whenever I want to. This Sister Moon, though, I think I do want to make progress on, so I am going to have to sort of think a plan. But like I said, a more structured plan or something like that will have to wait until 2025. For now, I make a little bit of progress. I think I picked this up for 1 day or maybe 2 days. I stitch maybe a couple of hundreds or 300 stitches. Again, switching from diagonal, from parking, to cross country, which I tend to do on my full coverage pieces. So just take it as come, but hopefully during next year, maybe find a way to work on it more regularly for my own sake and just see how much progress I can do for 1 year next year, and see if we can then from there go on and try to make a plan for all the other full coverage projects, I'm sorry, oh, I can't speak, that I have going, and see if I can, start to have more progress on all of the projects. But for now, this is the one that I'm going to focus on, and we'll see. Hopefully you will see a difference when moving into 2025. So here is another one of my whips that I've been working on for a while, and I really enjoy it a lot. It is called, well, I call it a dancing party. I'm not sure if it is the absolute correct name, but I enjoy the size of it. I enjoy that I can have the whole full length of it in my Q-snap and stitch the whole thing from top to bottom, or as in this case from bottom to the top. I then do the back stitching before moving on to the next section or the next page. I spent about actually like up to maybe six days on it. I think I did do the back stitching, and then I did the lower section here. One thing to note, this is stitched on a 16 count Aida, and there are quarter stitching here, and it's good to have a sharper needle when you do quarter stitching on a 16 count. Especially there are a few areas where there are like a lot of quarter stitching here, and if you have more than one, for the needle to pass through the middle on this type of Aida, like 16 or 18 or even 20 count, you need a sharp needle. So that is good to have. So I do have that. I have like several needles, and I can switch if one is not sharp enough. So that is what I do. There's still a bit of ways to go to it, but again, like I said, I love the progress that you make, and I love adding the back stitching to like the details in the face. And yeah, I have a bit of a ways to go, but I'm getting there. So super happy with this. This will definitely again come back in my rotation fairly soon, I think. Such a fun project to have going. Now, I never do anything special for Halloween or October, and for some reason I've started a few Halloween projects, which is not at all like me, so something is wrong. So this is Madame Fortune, or paw readings, as I also like to call it, because it will say paw readings on the project. I spent about 5 days on it. A little bit of gridding. As you can see, this is stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen. I think it's what do they call it, vintage gray. CXC floss, and the pattern is from I think you know the company. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'll just show it on the screen for you. And I just love this so much. It is just such a happy little project with super cute details. And I'm really looking forward to stitching all of the cats. And yeah, like I said, I've never been one to make a lot of fuss about Halloween, but yeah, I'm getting more and more into it. This might be one of those. I mean, I'm gonna stitch on this more in November. I might not do it on camera, but I'm just gonna, you know, because with this project, it's more like, yeah, I'm gonna stitch one cat here and then maybe put it aside, and then stitch one cat over there and then put it aside. I don't know. So we'll see, but I'm definitely gonna pick this one back up a couple of times more before Christmas, and then I might put it away for the spring and the summer. But I can highly recommend. It's such a nice chart. It's such a nice pattern. I really, really enjoy it. It is so cute. I mean, there are a lot of more patterns from this shop that I would love to put my hands on, but I need to I need to calm down and just stick to the ones that I have for now. Anyways, Madame Fortune 32 count Belfast, and I do stitch this 2/2. Apart from the back stitching here, actually this, I think, is this gray is a little bit lighter than the ones that they have stitched it on originally. So when you do stitch the back stitching here, I don't know if you can see it, it doesn't show up as well on this fabric as it does on the original fabric, but I actually kind of like it because the light color thread, it's not completely white. When it shows up sheer like this, that reminds me more of spider web. So that was an added bonus. I didn't think of it. I just noticed it, and at first I thought maybe I should just stitch this with a slightly darker thread. But I do like the end result because it really looks like spider web. And yeah, I think that there's a bigger spider web over here that I waited to, I haven't stitched it yet because I wanted to see how this one turned out first. And since I decided I like it, I am going to keep this color number and single thread and do the web with it, because it looks, to me, it looks nice. If you wanted to pop more, have a darker fabric or have a slightly darker color on the spider web thingy, but yeah, I'm happy with it so far. Now for my gold dimensions, or my dimensions gold collection. Okay. Wreath of all seasons. Again, I'm a little bit behind on this from what I wanted to be. That is because I I started up all these new projects instead of focusing on this. I had planned to focus on this. I had put aside time to focus on this because I want to be, because I'm still not completed the summer one, and then I have the fall section, and then I have all the back stitching. So the plan was to finish this year. I'm not sure I will be able to do that. I had too much fun starting up new projects, which was, like I said, was just something that happened. I don't know why, but it did. And so here we are. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm not gonna stress about it. You know, it will take the time. Maybe I will finish this in 2025. Maybe I will finish it in January or February 2025. I don't know. I love it. I do love it, but I am also super happy that I started the other projects. So there you have it. That's the dilemma. Start new projects or have a lot of whips, but not as many finishes. Well, you know, as long as you have fun. I am conflicted, but but here we are. So, like I said, I'm a little bit behind on this. I did spend like 3.5 days or something just to do, oh, I think this section, yeah, and stuff. Yeah, so the really fun part with this one is because we are moving through the seasons from winter to spring to summer to fall. You do get a lot of different color schemes through the whole wreath, but for somehow they kept it so it's cohesive. It doesn't seem disjointed or anything like that. And I think it's because, especially the greens, I mean, there are so many different greens, like the yellow green, the moss green, the dark green, the sage green. It's so many different greens that shouldn't go well together, but they do. In my opinion, they do. And since there are a lot of greens throughout the whole thing, it does sort of tie everything together super, super nicely, I think. So like I said, Dimensions Gold Collection, stitched on an 18 count Ada DMC floss. I spent about 3.5 days. I am, again, loving it. Now, usually when I stitch on paper patterns, I find myself do more of parking just because it's easier for me to get back into it. Because you put it aside for a few days and then when you come back, you sort of have to find your way on the chart. Because I don't mark off the chart. I don't like to put pen or pencil on the actual chart. So it's much easier if I try to finish on a straight line and just finish like the whole section, because then it's so much easier to just find your way, boom, you're back in and you can just start stitching. Now while I stitch, I might do a little bit of cross country, I might mix it up a bit, but when I feel like, okay, it's time to put this aside, I do try to end it or complete the row that I'm in. So like I said, it's a little bit of parking and it's easier to just get back into, for me anyways. So yeah, I will try to stitch a little bit more on this and then we'll see. I'm probably not going to be, to be honest, I'm not going to be able to finish this year. But that's all right, even though it was my plan, but I'm also super happy. Like I said, I am repeating myself now, I know, sorry. But I'm also super happy that I did start all of these other projects. So there we are. And speaking of which, yeah, time for another new project that I did not film. Yeah, hang on. Okay, so this was not super planned. And also I did not put it on camera because it's one of these dark ones again. It is called Halloween Night. It's a chart from Tilton Crafts. And this is how much I have got done. And as you can see, there's a lot of 939 here. There's a little bit of lighter colors coming in. And I'm stitching this on a 20 count Ada, and I'm stitching one single thread. Again, coverage, especially with the dark colors, you can see there's a little bit of, you can see the fabric a little bit through. I don't mind it. I think it works out pretty nice anyways. Again, the stitches are lying really nicely. It is nice to stitch. And this is, I have not, this is my first Tilton Crafts chart. I did see, oh no, who was it? It was another Flosstuber who was stitching on this. I mean, there are several other, of course, but I was watching Flosstube. I saw this, and I mean, I've seen the image before, but then when I saw it stitched, I was like, yeah, because it looks so nice stitched out, and she had, of course, much more progress than I do. But anyways, yeah, this is, I will definitely stitch more on this now in November. It's a really, really nice picture. Again, a Halloween theme, which wasn't, I wasn't supposed to start this one, but there we go. It took me about a day and a half to serge, to grid part. I haven't grid the whole thing. And to complete these stitches. And again, I'm not sure that I will put it on camera because it's such a dark image. Maybe in the middle where it's brighter, you can see the pumpkins. But for now, I'm gonna stitch with this off camera mostly. And we'll see how far I go before I put it aside and maybe pick it up again next fall or something. But we will see, and you will see this, of course, and the progress in the whip parade by the end of this year. On to another new Halloween start. So this is from a company, again on Etsy, called Tin Cell Cross Stitch. This is called Halloween Party 2. So there is another version of this one. I picked this one just because of the key. It says boo, which I thought was really, really nice. I'm stitching this on a 16 count Aida. On 16 count, I prefer stitching with 2 threads, so there's double. And I also am stitching this with a silk floss from Mrs. Sada's on Etsy. Again, one of these super big hanks, so there's a lot of thread in here. Now this one, I don't know if you can see, is this showing up all right? Because there's a little bit of, it's a nice warm sort of color, I think. And when I ordered it from the start, I was expecting a more red and black, and when it arrived it was more orange and brown, which I don't mind because I love it and I love the floss, and I understand that when you are hand dyeing floss, sometimes the colors doesn't match properly, and that is fine. That is absolutely fine. But I did end up then sort of putting it aside for a while, and since I'm not one who normally stitch a lot of Halloween, I wasn't sure what to do with it, but it was perfect, I think, for this Halloween. Halloween sampler. I spent about 4 days on it. Again, when I say 4 days, it could be 4 days and 1 day with like 1 hour stitching, and the next day with 5 hours, and then, you know, but about 4 days, and then from start with serging and gridding and stitching. I think it's super cute. It is super fun. Again, this I'm probably not going to. I'm going to stitch a little bit more on this, I think, in November if I get the chance. But otherwise, this is probably one that I'm going to be saving for the next year. Spooktober or November or sampler maybe even September, I don't know. But so far so good. It is very, very nice. But speaking of floss and for upcoming, or do you know what? I'll save that for later. I'm just going to put this aside because I did pick up a project that I have been wanting to, and for some reason I haven't been stitching on it so much lately, which is a shame. So it was really nice to be able to pick this up again. It is Blue Flower Skirt from Lanarte, and yes, oh, I really like this one. This have a few different stitches. So this is, as you can see, or maybe you can't. Hang on. There are some single thread 10 stitches, a single thread 4 crosses, and then there's double thread crosses, and it's stitched over 2 on the linen. This is stitched on a 30 count linen. One of the reasons I think I mentioned before that it took a while to make progress on this one was because of the chart. I did fill in the lines, so it's much easier to follow. And I also think that because I'm not super used to stitching on linen, right? I'm more used to even weave or Ada. Those are my 2 favorite things, right? I think that if I have had more experience with linen, I would probably have restarted this on a different type of linen. I'm not super happy with this. I don't know. First of all, it's kind of stiff, and it's not that it's bad quality. I just think that this would have benefited from another type of linen. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not that experienced with linen, so maybe that's why. But it was super nice to pick this one up and get a little bit more progress and get into the feel of it again. So this one I do want to make more progress on, and it will just take a little bit of time. It's a linen and it's a chart, but everything else I'm happy with. Like I said, 30 count linen from Lanarte, Blue Flowers Girl, and I spent about 2 days. I did complete, I think, this section sort of, and all the single threaded stuff over here, which gives it a very actually nice detail and depth. So on this one I do like the single thread. It was actually then nice to get a little bit of break from linen, from single threads, and just pick up my squirrels, a kit from Riolis. You can see the eyes here. Oh, it's super cute. I do like these kits from Riolis, the smaller ones with the animals, like the hedgehogs that I did before. Because they are fun. I think the designs are cute. You make a lot of progress, and once you get used to this wool acrylic floss, it's fun because it really is full coverage with this wool acrylic floss. You make a lot of progress, and you stitch this on 14 count Ada, because you need that for them when you do 2 strands of this wool acrylic floss. You need 14 count for sure. There are some single threaded crosses. I don't know if you can see that. Like it's a little bit more depth than sheer impression. And I spent about 3 days where I think I actually completed this whole section. Can that be correct? Yes, I think you can. There are some tent stitches, double-stranded tent stitches also. But this, I mean, it's fast. You make a lot of progress, and it's fun, and it's nice to have this to sort of switch things up, I think, for me anyways. When you do that, like the high count, like the 18 count or 20 or 25 count even weave, or the linen, then it's always fun and good to switch it up and then do the 14 count Ada with this type of floss. Yeah, I like it. So I highly recommend this as a quite relaxing. I mean, it's not a difficult or complicated chart, easy to read, and as you can see, not too big. Squirrels from Riolis. And so from 14 count Ada into 25 count even weave, again 1/1. This is Farewell to Anger by Leonid Afimov from Heaven and Earth Design, full coverage, and like I said, 1/1 CXC floss. I spent about 2.5 days. I did a little bit of progress. I have completed. I have done the Siam, as you can see, again with the full coverage and the 25 count. I do switch back and forth between cross country and parking, and yeah. I did watch Carla from Stitchy Witch on Flosstube, and yeah, we're the same. She's fun. She also switches between parking, I think, and cross country and diagonal and rows, and yeah, so that's me too. And we'll just see. And if you are stitching this with me, welcome to our own stitch along. This is also one of the full coverage that I do want to make. I'm not going to say a lot of progress, but I do want to make it more continuous progress than the other full coverage that I have. And why is that? It's because the colors are lovely. I mean, yes, there's a lot of blues, and if you may have noticed, there are a lot of blue colors. I love blue. But in this project, you will have so many more beautiful colors, the reds and the oranges and the yellows, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this progresses and how it will turn out once you get further on. So, well, I had Sister Moon, of course, but this might be also. Or do I have to? Yeah, okay. I need to figure out what to do with my full coverage stuff, because I do tend to buy the supersized one and max color ones, which this one is a supersized max color, which makes them huge. So I need to just decide how to proceed. But anyways, for now, I'm just having fun with it. It is and I'm like I said, I'm super excited to see what it will look like once you get to the brighter colors, and yeah, I think it will look really, 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 really nice. Another project that I thought that I would make more progress on this month, but I haven't, because like I said, I've been doing other stuff, people. But I did manage to get some of it done. This is called Kitty Litter, and it's from Dimension Skull Collection. I did stitch up this pink floof on top, and I completed part of the basket down here, and then there's this great little kitty coming here. I have been doing a bit stitching it a bit differently, because I think when I started, I did a lot of background. I did the butterfly that I completed totally with back stitching, and then I did the cat, and then I did, yeah, I'm gonna have to switch it up, because what is going otherwise be left is just background. So I am gonna do what I'm doing now, which is switching it back and forth. I will maybe start from the top and then do a little bit more detail, and then maybe work up from the bottom and then do a little bit more detail. It is tempting to just do the kittens first, but then you have all this background left. So I think I want to do a little bit of each. So it's gonna look like this, a little bit back and forth. And also this, again, like I mentioned, I mean, this is supposed to be like 3 strands of one color and 2 strands of another, 10 stitches, like 5 strands on this. And this is on an 18 count Aida, and it was awful when I did it in the start. And I don't know if you can see here, but you can see on the fabric it is stretched a bit, like here in the corner, because this is where I started, and then I frogged it, and then I restarted with fewer strands, because 5 strands on 18 count is awful. To me, it's awful. And also I don't mind the fabric showing through a little bit in the background. So I am gonna have a floss over from this kit, a lot of floss, because I'm using like half of it. So that is one thing, because with the Dimensional Go collection, sometimes they do have this crazy amount of strands that you're supposed to use on the 18 count, and it's not worth it, because it's awful to pull the thread and the needle through. Well, awful, yeah, for me it was awful. So I just restarted, and it took me just a few, like the first square, to realize that it was awful, and then I restarted. But you can see like the fabric is a bit stretched here in the corner, and that is why. It's because when you pull 5 strands up in a hole where there already are 5 strands, it's gonna do stuff to the fabric. So yeah, just beware of that and adapt. Do it whatever you want with the number of strands and the threads. If you prefer 5 strands, go for it. I couldn't. Anyways, enough of that. Yeah, this is also, I mean, it is super cute, but I'm taking my time, because there are sections that are just like color blocking, like here in the background. It's a blended thread. There's 2 colors in the thread, but it's, as you can see, a large section in the background with just the same. And then there's more confetti. So switching back and forth here is what I will do, but I will also, like I said, take my time, because now that I have, I mean, I started, and when I started Flosstube, I was working my way up from having 1 project to 10, and then from 10 to 20, and then from 20 to 30. From 30 up to, I think I'm up to like 40 whips in total. Not that I'm stitching on all at the same time, but yeah. Anyways, I will definitely continue this. This is a super, super, super cute thingy. I'm not looking forward to the couching, because I hate couching, and there's a lot of couching on this project that is lying right here that I have not yet to finish because of the couching. But it's worth it, because it's such a nice image, and it's such a nice project. And we'll see. I will just pick it up whenever I want to, so I don't get tired of it. And yeah, on to, okay, so here's another new start. Hang on. It's also interesting with the floss here, because I found another company that is new to me. Maybe not to you, but it's new to me. again, the chart is from Lina Ova, the one that I bought the Cinderella chart from. So it is similar, but not. It is called Alice in Wonderland 2. I think she has another version of this. Well, another version of Alice in Wonderland. Now, if you don't like borders, you're gonna hate this because there's a lot of borders, and then there's an image of Alice in the middle, but there's a lot of borders around it. I don't mind it. I actually find it quite relaxing to stitch. And with this thread that I love also, the variegation in this is insane. It's from blue to turquoise to like green and then to yellow. It is so nice. It is so nice. I spent about 2.5 days on this gridding, serging, stitching. 18 count, cotton floss, 1 over 1 square, so 1 strand. This floss comes from a company called Dyeing for Cross Stitch, hand-dyed fabric and floss, on Etsy. Etsy is where I go to for inspiration and for spending my money. And this was so fascinating because I was looking and I was up way too late one evening, and there was not this one but another color that I wanted, but they were sold out. It was out of stock. So I just sent a quick email just to check, if it is coming back in stock soon or no. And I think that this was on a Friday night even. And she replied immediately, so she must have been on it. And with the time difference, I'm guessing it was like more workday time there. For me, it was like in the middle of the night. And she said, no, I'll dye them for you over the weekend, and I send them out on Monday, like right after the weekend. And this was for me Friday evening. And yeah, so so from out of stock to like, no, I have them sent to you in a couple of days was, amazing. So I was stoked, super happy. And it was not this color, it was another. But then, because this is, I think, based in the US, so I thought I'd just throw in this color too. I love this. This is so nice. I love this. The cotton floss, super soft and super nice to work with. The only thing I would say is, again, when it's a very soft cotton, don't work with this long floss. So what I do is, since I work 1 strand, I cut it in half. And then I make sure, again, like I do with variegation, that if I end on a yellow, I will cut this and then start with the yellow, so you get those smooth transitions. If you do double stranded, then of course this length will be fine. But if you do single strand, then this length is too long, because the cotton, since it's soft, it will fray and it will break on you. So like I said, I cut it on half, and then make sure that I don't pull too hard, and then you'll be fine. So the reason I did order this is, do I have it here? Yeah, it's the other thread that I'm now hesitating to start working with. It's this one. Because this is, yeah, so I don't know if you can see this, but this is more what I was after when I ordered the other thread from Mrs. Sadas. And as you can see, both are lovely. But again, this is more orange and brown. This is more red and black. There's brownish, orange, brownish stuff going on, no burgundy maybe. But this is what I was after. So now I have another, I have another of the Lina Ova samplers that I do want to start, and I do want to use the red and black, but maybe these are too similar. So maybe that will feel like, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, both of these are so nice. And like the, it's a little bit of difference maybe. I don't know if you can see if it shows up. They're quite similar, but this is more leaning towards the orange one, and this is more to the red one. And I think you can see more clearly black and reddish brownish, or maybe even like eggplant, aubergine, sort of, I don't know. And this is more black. So yeah, we'll see. But this is lovely. This is exactly what I wanted. So if you haven't, please check this company out. I'm not kidding. I mean, like all the, there are so many colors on there. I want them all, but yeah, Fire Bean, this one is called, and this is Rim. So I can highly recommend. Super nice shop owner, really excellent customer service, super fast shipping. Highly recommend. And then Lina Ova and her charts. There are more that I want, like this one for instance. I have bought it. I have the chart. It's the Dracula one that I would like to stitch with this, and then I have the Mary Poppins one also. I have another lighter blue. Well, anyway, sorry. Yeah, let's not go there. I don't need to start more projects. I might. I don't need to, but I might. We'll see. So Alice in Wonderland 2, Lina Ova, 18 count Ada, floss, cotton floss from Dyeing for Cross Stitch. I recommend both Lina Ova. I recommend Dyeing for Cross Stitch. And this one I am also, I have a hard time putting this down too. It's like the Cinderella one, and this one I'm probably gonna be returning to these regularly throughout the whole year. Next year I'm not gonna save these just to stitch on in sampler September. I'm having too much fun with these. Yeah, I think that's it. Apart from the one that you have seen lying here on the table, I have it on a scroll frame, which is why it's harder to put away. And also because, hang on, sorry for the crinkling. And also because I do have the ambition of finishing this year. The Finery of Nature, Gold Dimensions. It's a kit. It's a 14 count Ada, and it is lovely. This one is the stitching incredible, the cross stitching, so much fun. You can do it like in sections, like 4 sections. Super nice. Back stitching, not a problem. The French knots I don't like. It's because I can't do them. That's the only reason. I mean, it doesn't matter how many I do. Why is it so hard? Because some of them turn out really nice, and then the next one is just like awful. Yeah, anyways. The real pain though in the, it's the couching for me. Does it look nice? Yeah, it kind of does. The cording is a nice touch, I think. It does make it look a little bit special. I think that one of the reasons to why the couching is extra difficult is because it's this gold metallic thread. I think, I mean, I do want to finish it and complete it as planned. But I think if I would ever encounter couching with the metallic thread, I would either switch out the metallic thread to something else, or I would try to stitch, not back stitch, but, and I don't know what it's called in English, but there's a stitch that you can do that we use in embroidery that mimics a little bit of the cording effect, because that would be so much easier rather than having the, first of all, it takes the time to do the cording. So what happens is, because you need to tie knots and stuff, so the back gets really, and I mean, I never have a neat back on a project, and I think that if you are more skilled maybe or more experienced than me, you're probably not going to find this a problem. But for me, it's a problem when you do the cording, which is like a twist braid but with floss, and then you need to tie a knot, and that knot with the metallic thread is going to be quite chunky. They're going to be like shorter ends, and it's a whole thing. So I'm not super happy with the feel and how it, I mean, it's going to show up on the back anyway, so I don't know. I think it would have been easier because if you stitch it, and with this, oh, what's it called? Again, I don't know the name in English, but if you stitched it like on embroidery, you could secure the thread on the back in a much neater and nicer way, so you don't get these big chunks of knots on the back. For instance, also the way you travel, because do you start and do you end, then you get like knots everywhere, because you can't just cut and fasten, because then this is gonna untwist. So you always have to make sure with the cording, if it's twisted, that you secure it, not as a regular thread, because like I said, it's gonna untwist. So yeah, it's a bit of a hassle. I mean, the couching takes, like, this part takes as long as all the back stitching and French knots in one square. So to me, it's the frame of this is taking so long, but I am gonna have to sort of just do it. Because I do want to finish it, and it's pretty, and I think I do like the end result, sort of. I am experimenting also a little bit with, because here I have used double thread for the back stitch, and here I used single thread. It's supposed to be double, I think, on both. I don't know. I mean, for me also, because it's different images, it doesn't really matter if it looks a little bit different. But yeah, because I think that the double stradded back stitching is a little bit clunky, especially together with the couching. It's a little bit of an overload, I think. So going forward, I'm probably just gonna do single strand and back stitching the way I did here. I like that better. Yeah. So anyways, what I am going to continue with, but probably not on camera, because it's super hard to reach around, because you need both, or at least the way I do it, I need both hands when you do the couching, because you need to pull the thread out of the way to get it. Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's hard to film when you do that because you need to see what you're doing. So my head keeps hitting the camera when I do the couching. So no, but I'm hoping to finish this. So anyways, I talk too much. For the next coming month, I will just continue to feel my way through. I don't know what will happen. Maybe, well, I will start the winter sampler from Marika. I might start the Dracula one just because I'm so eager to. Yeah. And I have another one. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that one. Because I did buy the chart. There's a Flosstuber called, her channel is called Stitching Masterpieces. And she sells patterns on, I think she opened her store on Etsy now, Stitching Masterpieces. She did sell her charts on eBay. I think she's stationed in Canada. And her channel is wonderful. She has a lot of ASMR stitching, and she does full coverage and stuff. And she has a chart called Hobbiton that I just loved, so I did buy the chart. And I think I might want to start it, but I don't need to start more full coverage, you know, because I have a lot of them and I have a lot of big ones. So I'm like, oh, I shouldn't. I mean, I'm starting more samplers. Well, samplers are more manageable, so, but do I start another full coverage? And then I have that new kit that I bought at the Scholar in the library where I did buy the kit. It was expensive. It was very expensive. But I mean, all the DMC floss, the Ada, the everything, the floss cards, that is also kind of a big one. So yeah, I'm gonna have to just ruminate on that a bit, or meditate on that. I don't know. Oh dear, I don't know what happened to me. Why am I starting new projects? I shouldn't, but I probably will. And then just regroup and try to come up with a plan for 2025. But that I will have to decide after Christmas for New Year, and just to sort of decide focus pieces for full coverage. And do I whip down or do I keep starting new stuff? I'm probably going to have to put myself on a no-buy for 2025 because I have a lot of stuff now, so I don't need to buy more. But that also I have to have a little bit of think. So with that said, to be continued. If you have enjoyed this whole video to the end, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, I will in the next one, it will be the end of the year, so it will be a summary of 2024 and plans for 2025. That will all come in the next Flosstube. Until then, I will keep posting Stitch with Me's, and we will just see what I end up starting and what I end up picking up in my whip rotation. That is it for now. Thank you so much. Take care, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.